Hey, are you going to? McCollum at the 2 weekends ago in the village, he was so good.
I see Riley.
Exactly like the concert.
I see Riley Green next weekend. Or we are at the Kettle House, but Ella Langley canceled. We are recording.
Not big sky.
And we're gonna go ahead and stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, before we begin, just a big welcome to Mrs. English, our new admin. This is our first official board meeting with the Title School Band, so welcome. All right, let's get started. We have our consent agenda. Any question on minutes from the previous meeting? Warrants, which are our expenses. Oh, and to the board members, you received 2 files for your board packet, so we are still in just the first file.
My scanner couldn't handle the size. I'm having trouble.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, let me.
I have 2.
Okay.
Did we purchase a pressure washer?
Yeah, he's out.
We did.
Is that the one he was using? Right up there,
Yeah.
like 10 minutes ago? Yeah, okay.
Is it lime green?
Yes, lime green and black.
That's our new purchase.
Okay. And I'm just excited to see if the gutter clean out helps at all with our moisture problem in the basement.
It looks like it's sloped okay, like the concrete that's there. It looks like it's sloped and mostly away. There's other issues, but it should be going away from the building. And if it's going away from the building and the gutters aren't overflowing, then theoretically.
Or did you look at, like, right by here, by the library door, that's what you're talking about?
Yeah, yeah, between the admin building.
We'll let our facility committee take care of that.
Yeah, we'll look at it if we need to, but.
We do have JV approvals. I just wanted to give Sharon a moment to explain them because repetition and explanation is good.
So June, July, and August, there will be multiple JVs. And I put on your desk exactly what they mean. So when you do your fiscal report, your trustee's financial report at the end of the school year, you've got to do JV journal vouchers, basically adjustments to make your financials match true to the district. Some examples are our scholarship fund is held outside of the treasurer's office. It's held at Whitefish Credit Union. So you have to do what's called a JV to show that, yes, you have this money, but it's just held outside an account. You've got to do it for fixed assets. You've got to do it for protested taxes. And all it is just making a statement for your financials, and then it's some are conversions and then some will reverse. And then they'll go back to the way they are. But I wanted you to be aware of when you see all of these off the wall ones, that's basically your end checklist just to get your financials in order. But there's a lot of them on top of what's normal. You're also closing out certain line items that you have to be penny for penny. So you've got to make sure that expenditure matches what that revenue is. And so you can code a couple more supplies to them or something like that. So usually you'll have maybe one every couple months, but in June, July, and August, there'll be a lot. Oh, and then on the FP14s, so in the consent agenda, you have FP14 means out of district student attendance agreements. And the reason it's split into 2 separate parts, the top part that's in the consent agenda are students that live in Kyla but go to a different school district, and you have no control over that. So all you're doing is acknowledging it, and on the line item, it says acknowledge and you sign. So that's just consent agenda, you approve it. On the action item part is FP14s out of district that people are asking to come to Kyla School District. And those are the ones that you did need to discuss and look at all the different factors, so. That's why there's two separate areas.
Do I have any questions on the consent agenda items? No, I can get a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next is our guest comment section. Members of the public are encouraged to comment during this time regarding items not listed on the agenda. The chair will seek public comments on agenda items as they occur. By law, the board cannot take action on matters discussed during the public comment portion of the meeting, but may include a matter raised during this time on a future agenda. The board would like to remind everyone to avoid commenting on private personnel matters, private student matters, and pending legal matters. Do we have any guest comments? No? Thanks for being here. All right, we are on to our action items. Action item A is our strategic action plan amendment. You will have received an email today with our updated strategic action plan. So you have a strategic plan committee that met over the summer. The committee will continue to meet as needed because the strategic plan is kind of a ever-growing, evolving document that we're going to use to kind of determine how we make decisions for the school. The reason the committee met is because the plan that was put before the board in November, and Liz, if you just want to go to the first page for me real quick. So see how it's in yellow? Yellow is going to indicate that that was something that we added. So it was originally adopted by the board during our regularly scheduled November meeting. The committee is asking the board to consider revisions on this date. That's why that's in yellow. Anything you see in red is the committee asking the board to just remove from the plan, just words to strike out. Okay, so when the committee met, we met because we realized in our original plan, we really hadn't done anything to consider students that were already enrolled at Kiowa School. We got pretty focused on our numbers, but we didn't stop and go. We may have a student that's been in kindergarten and first grade, and the way this was written, come this year, if they're going to second grade, we might be asking them to leave the school. That was not our intent. The intent is, once you are a part of the Kiowa School family, we genuinely care about your education and we want you to do well here and not have to fear that you will not be attending the school. So that was not the intent of the committee. So we met to try to amend that. We're calling it the grandfather clause. If you scroll down to the chart. So we, I don't know if you can see, let's see, second to the last column, there's a red and then it says that we will accept out-of-district students, 18 students before capping new out-of-district enrollment. We're trying to add words to say, if you previously attended Kiowa School, we want you to continue to attend Kiowa School. We're not in any way trying to kick you out. So we just needed to clean up the wording a little bit. At the bottom of the plan, we also added a statement saying that changes that we're making are for Appendix A will go into effect for all new enrollees of this coming school year. Again, we're just trying to think of verbiage to say, if your child previously attended Kiowa School and is already part of the Kiowa School family, we want them to be able to continue their education. So that was that was one major reason for the committee meeting. The second one,
Could I just add?
Yep.
But the intent then moving forward is that we'll be very explicit with our out of district students, starting with their kindergarten families. That might be something that happens in the future for out of districts, that they will be considered every year. That's not been appropriately communicated to families that are currently out of district but have been here for a long time. So the grandfather clause truly is in effect for this year moving forward as we progress. So next year will be first and kinder, then second, first, kinder. So it won't be a forever the way it's rewritten. It would be we take all of you that we've had. So that's something to consider as well.
Does this include siblings as well, or just the child
So like say if there's a child that's here for kinder first, that's out of district, then we have a new kinder sibling coming.
This is still written like you had it, in number 2, then priority. That
Okay,
they would be given a tiered priority,
okay,
but no, they're not automatically in just because they're siblings, their siblings are automatically in.
gotcha. Okay.
But it's easier to say no to someone who hasn't been here
Yes,
than somebody who has invested themselves, and parents understand having to wait in space and,
okay.
And the other item the committee is asking the board to consider, it was brought up the first time that this was presented in November, is to give priority to staff kids.
Yeah.
And that's a big retention thing for us and also a big way to incentivize attracting, staff members. So those were kind of the two real big things that we were just hoping to get board approval on at this point.
So where does children of staff members fall on, or does this, are they number one or?
So Liz, you don't mind, I'll let you take, so we're looking at the young at that point.
so we've actually just added them in, so we would accept out of district staff children up to 2 above. The Montana maximum is not a true maximum. The true maximum is always 4 students above what they say is the maximum. So let's say kindergarten, so kindergarten, I'll just be really frank too, so if I have a kindergartner coming in and I'm out of district. This isn't the talking point or the reason behind this kindergarten is out of place where this isn't going to get my child in. This is just what we believe is right for the school, so I just wanted to blanket statement that in case it's in the back of your mind, but. So kinder has a 20 Montana maximum. However, we can have up to 24 students in that class before we have to split into 2 classes. However, for every additional kid above that 20, so 21, you need an hour and a half of additional support into that classroom. And it's an hour and a half per, so the idea is, if you add 4 more kids, that would be 6 hours of parent support in that classroom. They don't want more than 1 full-time support person in that classroom. Nor could we house that in our tiny K1, 2, 3 classroom. So, the idea then in this new, there used to be column D was the, ones with the red. And then we've added sort of a column E. And so what this says is we would in K2 have 22 students before we would cap to out of district enrollment of staff members, so that's at the top. I didn't need to be redundant moving down, but anyone who is a staff member here, we would accept up to 22. So 22 would be the enrollment and then they would leave. Any questions on sort of the intent or the thinking there? Or how it's written?
So do we have the support personnel to put in, assuming we go over in a kindergarten or a second grade? Or?
Great question. We had 5 in our hiring pool for a para for what we had posted, which is more than we have had, which is really promising.
Awesome.
I think the other piece though, the way there's some other, the other language pieces that you saw in here, give a little bit more administrative discretion to what's happening. So, yes, we need to have the staff to be able to make these numbers work in order for this to be the plan. But in a perfect world, this would be the plan without tiny hands.
Right.
So the other thing that we talked about at the committee, quite at, well, in my mind, quite length, but, a number is a number. There are classes with 17 that feel like more than a class with 24. So I need to have some sort of administrative right there, not just numbers on a piece of paper that we can all just follow, like these are individual humans making up a culture in a class into a bigger grade band and then a district. And the way it's currently written, I don't have the wiggles to do anything with that.
Any public comment on the strategic plan?
Strategic action plan.
Any board questions? I'd like a motion to approve the strategic action plan amendment for the 25-26 school year.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I should second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So the next action item is consideration of the out of district students, which obviously we put second because we wanted to make sure we had.
It's kind of important,
We were
just a little
We
important.
were trying to correct the error before we considered out of district students at this time. So your board is given a list of student numbers. We do not have names. We are not at all able to identify students. We are not given student specific information. Just want to make sure everyone's aware of that. So as board members, you have a list that basically says student attendance agreements from a district and coming to Kyla is in your board. But specifically.
There's an updated one on your desk too.
Right here.
It's-
Okay. The enrollment, Kyla school enrollment sheet was, Sharon, I'm assuming is in that, basically summarizing. Or Liz or someone.
Did that.
Sharon did that. And the way the law is written, the board has to approve all out of district students. That's why this is coming to the board.
Right.
So in kindergarten, you have an in-class total of 15 with 3 on the wait list. Our max is 18.
That's a question on that. Is the 15 in, is before the 3 incoming? Okay, yeah.
But
So-
only for kindergarten. So
Right,
15 in kinder does not have any out of districts because you've never previously approved them at a board meeting. Your other, like first grade, has some out of districts included in that 18.
Okay.
But the one additional that's on the far right is on the wait list as a new out of district.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, the enrolled current students, OOD, out of districts, are included in the class total. The waiting list is not.
So first grade wasn't a great example then.
right.
But in second grade then,
There are
3 of the 21 are out of district and then there's 1.
If you look at seventh grade, we have 9 out of district kiddos. And 0 waiting, so 9 plus 23 are all out of district.
That would have been a surprise.
Well, in 4th grade, holy cow, he's 7, so they're out of district.
So your kindergarten numbers, we can approve all waitlisted students because we're still under our number. Does everyone agree on that?
Agreed. Yeah, agreed. Are we expecting more in districts? I mean, we don't know, right? It's kind of the same thing every year.
And we don't,
Come the day of, after the first week.
we also don't know everyone in the in-class total is
Sure.
gonna return.
Sure,
So lots of kids might be waiting for other out of district
Sure.
enrollment approvals and.
okay.
So right
It's
now,
hard to hit a moving target.
Right.
that's what else we get at.
Sorry.
That's
So I guess that's the other idea of amending the strategic plan too, is for all of these classes that are so far away, maybe we could have approved those families at our last meeting in June.
Right.
And those families don't have to wait until, like, this is a late time.
Mhm.
I have anxiety, and it's not a surprise to any of you except Linda, but, like having to wait all summer
Yeah.
and like constantly refreshing the vendor roster page of, but 6th grade has been fine. So we can approve those early and then solidify those kids into our enrollment for A and B, which ups our funds, so.
And one thing, what past practice that's happened is you don't want to say, okay, you can come in, and then the first day of school, all of a sudden we get 5 kiddos enrolled. sorry, you can't come now. It's devastating to the family. So whatever you decide tonight is,
And say we wouldn't do that, would we?
it's happened.
What have we done in the past in those situations?
That situation, we told the family that that child couldn't come. But it was extenuating circumstances, because she wasn't quite 5 yet, but we had said, yes, she could come. And it was difficult for the family, so, whatever you decide is what you stick with, basically.
So looking at first grade, it looks like we, so we have one new student that has not previously attended our school and we are at our 18. So
It would not,
we would not, in our, as the admin, do you have any different opinion on?
no,
So, and yeah, in the first grade, there's no siblings and they have not attended here.
And then in second grade, we already have an in-class total of 21, with the state max being 20. We currently have 3 out-of-district students, but they were previously enrolled. So based on the strategic action plan we just amended, they're in. We do have one,
And the one would be denied.
and the one would be denied because we're already over the state limits.
and then based on the way it was written in the past, just so we were super all on the same page, those 3 kiddos would have been booted.
Right.
That have been here before.
Now. The grandfather didn't put the one on the wait list, what?
We'll have to wait, yeah.
So let me go back, the one in first grade. So third grade's okay, the one in first grade is,
Kindergarten's okay.
kindergarten's okay, first grade is a no.
Correct.
Okay. And second grade is a no.
Yeah, because we're well over state limits.
So I want to clarify, I'm sorry, it's been a long day. So if we're 2 within the state max, we're denying them, but technically we can go 4 over the state max.
Correct.
Okay,
But for every person, every additional kid, we have to add
1.5 hours,
Sure.
that's just kinder,
and
No, that,
every grade?
every,
Okay,
and that, we don't have a lot of wiggle room
Yeah.
there, right?
no, you have to do that,
Yeah.
or we're getting a ding.
Right.
yeah.
So our third grade in class total is 16. That includes the 4 previously enrolled. So 1 on the wait list, so that's a yes.
So yes, that, yeah. That's how I read it.
Fourth grade, we have a class of 27 with 6 out of district students previously enrolled.
Right.
And then we have 1 on the wait list, so that would be a no.
Okay.
Fifth grade, we have a class of 23, 4 previously enrolled, none on the wait list, so we're clean on that. Sixth grade, we have 18 with 4 previously enrolled out of districts, 2 on the wait list, so that would be a yes.
Yes.
Seventh grade, we have 23, 9 out of district, none on the wait list, so everything's good there.
Yes.
Eighth grade, we have 21 in class, 5 previously enrolled, 2 on the wait list that are a yes.
So yes.
All right,
So I see it.
I've got all these agreements on my desk, and I'll pull the note or the notes out, and then I'll have you sign those.
okay, so if I can get a board motion to approve as discussed, accepting all currently enrolled out of district students and the no's and yeses on the wait list as discussed.
I'll make a motion to approve all the currently enrolled out of district students and the yeses and nos on the non-enrolled.
I'll take a second.
We forgot one.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Is there a student council meeting?
We're at 205 right before close, and we're like
I
a
remember
little
that.
sweet spot of.
And
Enough
then
each
like
class.
169.
Everybody take a collective breath. I will move on to my birthday. All right, we have a trustee report, which I am told goes from page 33 to page 73 of your.
Okay.
So this is your fiscal year 24-25 It's called a trustee financial report. It's basically the financial report of the district. It includes your revenues, your expenditures. Gonna lie, it's intense. This is, you have until December 10th, I believe. If there's any errors in it, but I compared everything to the past years and it looks good. So,
Any questions on the school trustee report? Other than why is it so long?
At the moment, what we're supposed to do is review this, right, and then we as a board determine whether or not we agree with it, and if there are some changes that need to be made, then we would discuss it, and all this has to be done by December.
well, if the trustee report has to be approved by, I think it's the third week in August.
Okay.
And then if there's any, I don't even get this completed until the first week of August, or, well, about July, the end of July. And then, if there's any, if we go through, we find any errors, anything like that, we have until December to amend, fix it.
Perfect.
But, so every time you put all this in, you have to run what's called a consistency report, a validation, and it came back with no errors, so.
Great. All right.
Good, huge job, Sharon.
All right, if I can get a motion to accept the 24-25 Iowa School Trustee Report.
I will make a motion to accept the 2024.
Swing eyes, up.
Is it 24, 25? Okay, 24, 25, the school year report.
That was 25.
No.
I don't, well, that's what I read it. I like it threw me off.
No, you didn't.
Okay.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Now we are on to the 25-26 budget revenue and expenditure. Revenues are on page 74 to 90. Expenditures are in your second packet, page 1 through 7.
So what this is your next year's budget.
Yeah.
So, and it's broken up into two categories. You have a budget committee that needs to actually do line item for line item. For your expenses, every penny has to be accounted for and has to have a code too. The one that you see submitted report is your revenue. And what you do is you'll take your ending cash balances, you'll take what state aid you're gonna get, you're gonna, there's like 5 different funds that you have to go through and look at. And it's intense because this is where you are telling your taxpayers what their mills are gonna be, what you're gonna levy against them. So this is the revenue part, and then you have the expenditure part. Again, we did validation, it came back clean. So, but it's still, it's when people say, you know, I'm sorry, why are my taxes going up? I'm gonna tell you right now, one of the things is with legislative change, if you look at your tuition. This is where they said out of districts are gonna start paying other districts. And so what we used to levy $16,000. To pay another district for maybe a special needs child, something like that. Now we're paying Smith Valley, we're paying Marion, we're paying Kalispell for their kiddos to come here. And so that's why it went up. It's supposed to help in your general fund because it's one of those different money you pay out of your tuition, but the tuition we get goes into the general fund. So it didn't balance out for most districts, this legislative change.
And they thought it would.
Oh,
Yeah.
And the amount of payroll is incredible.
Any questions on the budget revenue and expenditure report? No. I can get a motion to accept the 25-26 Iowa School budget revenue and expenditures.
I will motion. 2025, 2026 budget report.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
That's good, because otherwise people don't get paid.
Getting enough one.
Okay, we are in the second board packet, just to make sure everybody's on the same page, and we are on page 8 of that second board packet. And you are looking at your ending cash balance.
So the ending cash balance helps with your next year's 25-26 budget. And I tried to write some stuff. Your budget balance is different than your cash balance. So your cash is what you actually have on hand. So there's 5 funds, we participate in 3 of them. And so you put in your cash balance. The state says you're only allowed to have 20% of next year's budget. Whatever is over that has to help fund that next year's budget that's reappropriated. I tried to write down that we are at full reserves, well, 1, I think. Yeah, we're at, general fund, we're allowed 10%, we're at 9.6. Transportation retirement, we're at full reserves at 20%. So it says we can have this in reserves, if anything over that, again, has to help budget, or has to help fund. Therefore, lowering a little bit of taxes on taxpayers.
Any questions about that?
No,
I'll take a motion to approve,
motion to approve.
ending cash balance.
Ending cash balance.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, party people, this is the time. We are doing committee. Committees are an opportunity for board members to be an integral part of what goes on here at Fowler School. You have, yep, a chart on your table.
So in the packet, it's a different one than what's in front of us.
Yep, so I
It's
asked
like
Sharon
safety.
to get rid of safety and wellness because you were doing facility safety.
Makes sense.
So since we combined them, we deleted that
Makes sense.
redundancy. Let's go from the bottom, because the top one is the heavy lift. Gifted and talented.
So usually you can have 1 to 2 board members. And then after the board committees are set, then it'll go to the staff. To see what staff members want to be on the committees, but only 2 is ideal.
Is there a description of these committees?
Yeah, I was just wondering that myself and get a brief summary.
Gifted and talented meets to discuss the school's plan for our gifted and talented students. We have met 2 or 3 times last year we met, and it was trying to come up with procedures to identify gifted and talented students, and then ways to challenge them within the classroom setting, not so much pulling them out, but things that maybe working with teachers to differentiate a lesson so that the GT students are challenged. I think is the right way to say that. Brandy Vickery, who is our 7th grade advisor, she is spearheading it.
Are we comfortable having that be an administrative function and not a committee and reaching out?
Touch base with Brandy, there was a reason we had to form a committee. They're overdoing things again, like with title, like
Okay.
we have to have a committee.
But so that's not, it's not a, you just met twice because it was remembered at the end of the year and we need to do it monthly, or just a annual. Okay.
And I think we were trying to make it a smaller event where maybe the committee would meet as more of an overseeing of like, how are we doing procedurally? Are we meeting the needs of the students? And then maybe just the admin and the GT advisor, and maybe the teacher could just meet and keep things moving for the student faster and better pace.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So now we're looking for somebody on the board to volunteer to be part of this committee.
Yeah.
Do we want to go through all of them and see like
Or if you have a
what
preference.
like what everyone wants to do and then we can.
Rostros.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know if you wanted to do negotiations, already been gone.
I am willing to do it if somebody experienced is on it with me.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
It's usually helpful if someone on negotiations is also on budget.
Yes, I did budget negotiation. Actually,
We did.
yeah,
Yeah.
she joined me when Conrad left. But it's the negotiations honestly was way. Never doing it before. And it's another year.
And with this negotiations with the union,
Yeah, teachers.
With the teachers, yep.
And then reading something.
Do you and I want to take negotiations and budget then?
Does that mean, yeah, that you'll,
That's true.
So Christina and I will take negotiations and budget.
What were you on last year, Nick? You were here, right?
Yeah, I was here. I was on policy last year.
I will tell you, heads up, policy will hit the ground running. We've got already a stack of policies that need to go through. Yeah. A lot of already have gone into effect as of July 1st, so changes, so just. This, you'll have a meeting, a good meeting, right off the bat, and there may not be any more for the rest of the year, there may, so just kind of a heads up on that one.
It's definitely a good one for newer board members to be involved in, so you can kind of understand our school and what drives the decisions that we make.
I'd be happy with policy, because
Okay.
that's what I do all day.
Great. Yeah, you'll have, I mean,
And negotiation, that's the other
this will
thing I
be
do.
on a policy meeting, Sharon's usually on policy meetings and they just kind of craft language to basically facilitate what we want to have happen or need to have happen basically. Yeah, so.
That one's in my wheelhouse.
Cool.
Okay.
Might be busy. At
You will definitely.
least for a while.
So I spent years writing policies.
and also, this is like, we're looking for any new curriculum, bringing curriculum into the school. I don't
Curriculum
know.
can like review it. You can review the curriculum that we're looking at bringing in.
Is there an opinion?
Make a recommendation to the board.
Yeah. We're always looking for social studies and different things. Title program.
Amy, would you mind explaining the title committee?
So we started the title committee just the end of last year because we are we're gonna be monitored now with OPI for our grant. And so we started a title committee because we have to make a plan of like what title is, the interventions we use, we meet with parents.
You want to explain what title does? Do you know?
So title, we work with like our, I'd say tier 2, tier 3, but students. So we use our benchmarking and stuff like that. So we just try to target where the gaps are with the students to help fill those gaps to get them back in the classroom as fast as we can. And try to keep them in the classroom, but we're just filling gaps, catching them up as they have a skill they need to be on gaps.
The learning gaps like reading for.
Yeah, we do reading, math.
Yeah.
We touch on handwriting as well. Sometimes we even try to, like one year we tried to integrate social studies in as well to focus on the reading portion. So we work on everything that comes with reading, everything that comes with math.
Sure.
It could be small group, it could be one-on-one pair support, just kind of depending on the needs of the student at the time.
Calendar is setting a school calendar, so working on a committee for holidays, end of school begins.
And so like we had a few meetings at the end of the year for title, just to try to kind of get a plan together. That what OPI was looking for as we start moving forward. So when we made that. At that committee, we kind of did it like we did the GT, like within the school, we'll kind of do what we really need to do and with the committee, kind of foresee it. And help with input as needed.
Yeah, so the committee is just to help make sure that we are meeting all the requirements. Yeah,
Correct.
got it.
Yep. And so we'll probably meet, with the new admin, I'm not sure how it might look, but we were thinking 2, maybe 3 times a year.
I don't know if GT and title, I'm struggling to understand why those are committees. That sounds like an administrative function that I would report to the full board on what is happening in like a principal's update. I haven't dug into the title audit, and so not sure if that's required to have a committee, like we are required to have a safety committee. But I've never heard of a title or a GT committee. So I'm not trying to blackball you out of the process and could invite you to those meetings if you'd like. It seems very formal to assign a board member to something. that are very clearly administrative functions. That's just my 5 cents.
Yeah, I think at this time we'll assign a board member based on the fact that we think it's an absolute requirement, and if you see otherwise, since it says as needed, would you say they're not needed? And then we can just move on.
I mean, those are things I would love to report out on, you know, quarterly or trimesterly and how we're doing. That's kind of the vision of the principal's report.
How about I just sign up for now, and then if turns out we don't need me, I'll just step back into these other committees.
And we always need.
Yeah.
Was that the title one?
Yeah.
It is,
We have Nick and Abe on title. And then Nick
if needed.
on curriculum.
Who on
Next on
curriculum?
title.
Yep, Nick and Abe on title,
And who on curriculum?
Nick on curriculum.
And what about GT? Gifted and talented.
How about calendar? That's an easy one, right? We're gonna have to do calendar.
I'll do calendar.
It means like once.
I'll do that.
And then Nick and Abe, are you still good being on facility and safety?
Yes.
Since you're hard typed in, I can't really see.
It's like,
Sorry,
it's on the page.
sorry.
I'm backing out now.
Strategic planning, I'm happy to continue on that. I think we're gonna move in good directions.
I can take it and just not Wednesday.
Okay.
If needed.
Yeah, if needed, if not, no worries. Okay. All right, if I can get a motion to accept the committee assignments,
I will make a motion to accept the committee assignments.
Second,
all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Next item on the agenda, consideration of hiring a paraeducator.
We, I briefly spoke on this before, but we have put out for a para, and that would be a 0.6 additional FTE from what we had in 24-25, since one of our staff members went to 0.6. So, but it is over and above what we have. I would like, you to consider hiring Tiana Nicely, who's in the South. She blew out of the water for interview. Will be a very loving, caring addition to our staff, and is invested in other ways in our community.
So, if I can get a motion to approve hiring Tiana Nicely for our para position.
I will make a motion to approve Hannah Nicely as our para position.
Well, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The next item on the agenda, we were hoping to hire two, so if I can just get a motion to strike. Oh, pause. He's biting.
You just wanna hold on to that?
I left it in the, you'll hear later.
I can get a motion to strike.
I'll make a motion to strike. For a second hire. That is good.
She heard you, you're good.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, consideration to hire Miss Barrett as our cheer coach. Contract is in board package. Probably page 492 at that point.
It's a big one. A big one, but it's a quick one.
Yeah, we're doing. And Miss Barrett has graciously accepted to do it alone because all hearts keep having babies and leaving.
How many years have you done it now?
This will be our 4th season.
Right, okay. And you've done it every year, right?
Yes. We connect very well with, Flag. So I just reached out to their new head cheer coach, because they just done the coach.
Awesome. I will make a motion to approve the cheer coach.
I'd like to second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Yay.
Next item, Josh Jenks for our 5th grade through 8th grade basketball coach.
Now that's two teams, right?
That's 2 teams.
Right. 5, 6, and 7.
Yep. If we have enough players.
So if we don't have enough players, does he get the stipend for?
We always have enough players with the boys. It's
Okay.
the girls that we tend to have. a little-
That's right, okay.
So they-
I forget these things.
You know.
So the motion is to hire this gentleman for the basketball coach position.
Yep. Yep, and he's our fifth grade teacher.
Oh.
Yes.
You'll meet him after school starts.
Perform with the students.
with babies. Yeah.
Baby.
Yeah.
Yes.
These are, returning. These
Coaches.
two are
Yeah.
returning.
Yeah.
So there was no hiring process. We offer to people who have done it in the past, and if it's a successful season and they want to, then we just bring it to the board, so.
Wonderful. Then I'd like to make a motion to hire Mr. Jenks as our basketball coach.
I will second that.
All in favor?
I,
Any opposed? All right, consideration of Kayla Ping for our 5th through 8th grade volleyball coach, and I will hand that over to Mrs. Davis, right?
So athletic director Eli and I had a great showing of volleyball coach applicants. We interviewed 4,
Wow.
5,
Yeah.
5, all would have done a fantastic job.
Wow.
So Kayla rose to the top. She has experience at Flathead as an assistant. She has experience, coaching not a travel league,
Yeah.
a competitive travel league down in Arizona. And is moving back up here, wants to start coaching again and, yeah.
I was gonna dominate. Yeah.
Not only our girls are super solid and now to add this coach on top, it's gonna be like a basketball season like that in volleyball.
Aw.
Athletic director Eli, would you like to add anything?
Just the conversations that we were able to have in our interview as well, just made it the right choice as well. So, yeah, I'm excited for our girls. So,
That's what we wanna do.
When will she be up here in the valley?
Next week.
yeah, within the next couple, well, for sure, the next couple of weeks. So,
Nice.
yeah.
So we're not delaying starting
Mm-mm,
for,
no.
awesome.
If that's what we wanna do, I will, make a motion to approve Kayla Ping as the girls
Oh,
volleyball.
sorry,
Oh,
but she got married. So what is her new last name?
It, I don't want to mispronounce it, but it starts with an L.
can I just say Kayla?
Yes.
Coach Kayla.
Coach Kayla.
Yes.
So I would like to make a motion to approve Coach Kayla
Mhm.
for the 25-26 girls volleyball.
And she's taking both teams.
Mhm.
Awesome. I will second that.
All in favor?
I
Any opposed?
awesome that we have so many applicants,
You know,
because usually it's the other way around.
we're getting people. to
Yes.
Turn something.
Yes.
Do you want me to delay signing until we get her current name then? No. All right. Consideration of the Silco bid for the office building, boys bathroom urinals. Are you comfortable?
Yeah, so, Amanda and I talked about this a little bit before, and I guess we have a question about it because we had a previous bid from Silco for other bathrooms. And that bid was about $10,000, and it feels like there was 8 or 10 fixtures replaced in that. This bid is $5,000, and it appears that it's only 2 fixtures. So is it
2 fixtures or 2 urinals?
2 urinals?
Okay.
Yeah, two urinals, sorry, a sink or a urinal or a toilet is what I would call a fixture,
Okay.
right? So I guess Amanda's the one who brought this up to me, saying that she felt it might be a little expensive.
I was hoping it was to include more things than just 2 urinals.
Well, as long as you get it done before it gets cold, because the problem is the pipes are freezing on these things.
Right.
You could table it and have, Silco come explain it next month.
Great.
I'm
I get-
wondering, did the last bid, was it 2 trips as well?
I don't know, the last bid
'Cause
was
it's
2
gonna be 2
restrooms.
trips.
Ugh.
Yes, but typically there's an additional charge if they have to come back a second time.
Right,
So that might be part of it as
it
well.
might be, so that could be part of it, because in the description, it looks like
It says once we, the school's contractor there, the choosing, fixes the existing
The walls.
wall. And stuff, then they will return to continue their job.
But they've done
But yeah, I
that.
think an explanation would be,
Yeah, it just seems like it's a little more expensive than the last bid we got to.
How long ago was that? The last.
June?
Just June, you know,
That's it.
yeah, it was just a couple months ago. So, and they're a local company and everything and all of that. It just seems like this price doesn't seem like it's in line with the price that the last project we had.
That means more expensive than what what we're seeing.
Well,
here.
yeah,
yeah,
it looks like he's removing them and then another contractor will come in, maybe our handyman contractor that we have will come in. Tear out the wall, re-insulate and redo the walls, and then he comes back and installs the two new fixtures. But that's not necessarily anymore, it seems like it's less involved than what.
Yeah, it does. That's from the sinks and toilets and.
Yeah, from the scope of work for the plumber, it seems like it's less involved. Because of less fixtures.
Yeah, table it and have them, I was on my thing, and have them.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Well, I would also like to add the additional fixtures when we get a new, so we'll just probably bring a full new bid. Which would likely also include the fixtures in the girls' bathroom.
Okay. I mean, maybe if he removes the ones from there, then he can just say in the same day, come and do the other work in another bathroom and it's a little less expensive. So I know plumbers are expensive, but.
These are on our long range facility plan.
Right.
So if we can just bang a couple of them out
Yeah, it'd be nice.
in the one bid, since we have the table anyways, that would be awesome.
So if we're comfortable with that, I'll make a motion to table the bid for Silco, for the faculty men's bathroom here.
I will second that.
All in favor?
I,
Any opposed? Okay, this next item, in full disclosure, is one that as a Kyle school board, we tend to ignore because I think we're just pretty small and maybe we don't think our vote matters that much, but most years we ignore it. MTSBA is our Montana School Board Association. We lean on them heavily for new member training, which everyone is highly encouraged to participate in. We lean on them for legal advice throughout the school year. And we pay them some money for their guidance. And so they are, at this time, they sent out items to vote on. It's all electronic. They did not have enough present for their meeting to continue. They didn't have a quorum. So they are asking us to vote on whether we support or oppose their foundational elements as described in your board packet. I probably skipped one. Apologies. Number 3 was whether we support or oppose the principles and guidelines. Then their foundational elements and their dues increase as described. And then the nomination of the MTSBA president-elect and vice president. There was quite a bit information they provided, kind of describing each of those items. If everyone had time to read it or needs time, just let me know.
I could use for a moment.
Yep.
What page is that on?
So this begins on page
20. Of the second packet. Well,
Yeah, see, I'm saying one on page 25.
Yeah, exactly.
Wall text.
the principles and guidelines begin on page 25, and the first vote is whether you support or oppose those.
So then if we oppose one, then we just put oppose. We oppose the principles. Even if it's just like one word in one sentence in one principle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do have the option to say that the school district approves, also opposes, or abstains.
And they sent this originally in June, when everyone's out of school and won't pay attention, which is probably why they got zero participation.
I figured our voice counts too, so we should vote.
Sure. Principle two, number one, this is something I actually really agree with. It's strongly embrace and advocate for the preservation of locally made decisions within our communities. There was a bill in the legislature this year to basically consolidate school districts. So that schools like Smith Valley, Kyla, and Marion would be under SB5 and under all their policies, and our board wouldn't exist. So Kyla families would have to go to Kalispell to discuss issues with all of that. So the more local we can keep it, I think the better, because we know what's better for our kids and our community. That's the fun.
That's good for them, it's not good for us.
Yeah, it's good for them.
Yeah,
And the other thing that bill would have done is potentially close rural schools and bus kids into town. Which a lot of families out here that I know personally would not like that.
that's the reason why we live out here.
Yeah, right. It's the reason we live in these mountains. Dang it. Prior America. Just point that out.
So Amanda, looking at this, it looks like there's 5 things you have to agree on.
Does it show what our dues are?
Karen, you know what, dude, we paid at MPSB.
Oh, we just had a budget meeting.
Just some reference.
Yes, I can tell you.
That's a lot of 270s.
That's what I was wondering, yeah.
So are we good with their principles and guidelines?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
All right.
We need a motion for that or? do-
All motion as a whole.
So we pay, for dues, we pay 3,000. And for policy updates, we pay 1,500. The MQEC, which is a legislative lobbyist, through them, we pay 500.
That's not bad.
For the policy updates 15, for the NTSBA.
I mean, like last year when we had the legal advice, you guys pay that in addition.
Correct, yeah, this isn't like a
Anything like
legal
that.
retainer or
Yeah.
anything, it's just.
You can, you are allowed 1 hour of advice on a particular topic, and once you're over that, then you have to sign
I
a
do hear
agreement
that
that you will pay for the time you use.
Right.
How about the, foundational elements, so that's the page 30.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, forward.
34, yep, 30 to 34, we're good with that.
Good,
Yes.
yeah.
Good.
Mhm. And then please indicate whether your school district supports or opposes the fiscal year 27 dues revenue estimate. You are not voting on your district's dues, rather the estimate that is calculated pursuant to the member adopted MTSBA bylaws to keep it clean and simple.
Okay, it's not confusing at all.
Yeah. And so that's on page 35.
So it looks like
Some increase of 30.
3.24%. That's just other percentage increase.
Well, the projected increase is 2.69,
Oh, yeah, okay.
30,318.
Yep.
That's why at first I thought that was to us. I was like,
You're like,
and I say that, yeah. That's why I was like, but then
Here,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm good.
All right. Please indicate whether we support electing Rick Cummings. And there's a little blip of the president-elect and vice president.
on page 36.
I am.
Yeah.
Farmer future. And
Yeah,
And Jennifer. Farmer.
Linda?
Yes.
that's fine.
So basically, the board will be giving me permission to submit electronically that we approve the principles and guidelines, approve the foundational elements, we approve the fiscal year 27 dues revenue estimate, that we are approving Rick Cummings as the MTSBA president and Jennifer Hoffman as the vice president.
Yes.
If I can get a motion.
I will make a motion to approve all of that.
Okay.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Open fund 182, Ms. Sharon.
So legislature this year did some laws. We are currently in a multi-district agreement. It's called the West Side Multi-District Agreement with Marion, Smith Valley, West Valley, where we're able to take general fund year-end monies and put it into this fund for building, for what we need. Before you had to use it or lose it. So when they allowed us to do this, it was wonderful. The law just changed where you had to be in a group of people, and one person had to house the money. They had to be the fiscal agent. Well, the law changed that and said you can actually open your own fund 182, which is an interlocal agreement, and keep the money in-house with your own district now. Actually, when I had my last audit, the auditor, that's what he wanted to do, but the laws haven't changed yet. So opening fund 182 would allow us to keep our funds in-house in our own treasurer, where we wouldn't have to submit a claim to West Valley. They would have to write a check, or we would try and get reimbursed. We could actually write the check from our own district. The advantage is it's in our own house. We have total control over it. The disadvantage of your interest might not be as high because right now it's pooled with 3 or 4 other school districts, so your interest is a little higher, but it's still kind of portioned out accordingly. So I think it would be amazing to be able to have control over your own money, write the check when you want. They just said to do this, you still have to have an interlocal agreement with the other districts that you can at least in-house, keep the money in-house now.
So we would have a bank account.
It would be with the treasurer's office still, and it would have, it's its own fund.
Yeah.
So it would have to be balanced every month, like with the other funds. The only money that would go into it would be year-end general fund or interest.
Are you gonna transfer over the West Valley money?
Absolutely. Yeah, they will, and on your desk is a balance sheet of where we are standing. That was at the end of June. Because right now the money's in her account, so I've got to wait for her to balance things out before I can get the interest and
This is
stuff.
our portion.
That's our
Correct.
portion.
Yeah.
That seems higher.
Well, at the end of, we're averaging probably about 1,000-1,500 a month in interest.
Okay.
So that's where it's been building up. And then at the end of last school year, we were able to put some year-end monies in there for some building projects and stuff.
So that's the facilities committee.
Yep.
Get it,
Yep.
go on and get it.
If we do this, will it change anything with our agreement with the other school districts?
So that's the next item. So it's been amended
Great.
to say, that they will no longer be the fiscal agent, but we still have to have an agreement with another agency. The law said it didn't even have to be a school district. It could have been another county office. It could have been another business. But you have to have an agreement with another district to do this.
Okay.
So, the next one with West Valley, agreement has just been amended, and I think it shows some strikeouts and things like that, some of the verbiage change. And this went before all of the school districts, and all of the school districts looked at it and said, yeah, I mean, we're just changing some verbiage, and we think it looks great. We think it's an advantage for all of us, so.
It changes verbiage, but it seems like it deletes a little bit of bureaucracy, having to go through extra steps.
And if- who are we going, and we're just gonna be our own, like, we're agency or said that we have to have somebody else, like, hold it or manage it or?
So how it used to be is you had to have, like a co-op, you had to
Yeah.
have school districts all come together. You had to have one fiscal agent that housed all the money
Right,
and did all that. Well, the law changed and says you can now house your own money. You still have to have an agreement with with other agencies. But you can now have your own fund. You can keep your funds in-house. West Valley doesn't have to hold it for 5 different schools.
Great.
So, and it's less work on her too.
Yeah.
You know, so
And you can reconcile the balance.
I can reconcile and with that interest, as soon as that treasurer's report come out, just.
so the big downside is just that we may not get as much interest accruing on our portion of this because it's a smaller.
Correct.
Do you see any other negatives to it?
No.
No.
I know, I think it gives more control to the board. And I think you don't have to wait. Because every school district only writes checks once a month. So if you're one day after their board meeting, you need some money for a contractor, you've got to wait another month. We're
Unless
here-
they have a special meeting to
Unless
approve
they
just
have-
your thing,
Exactly.
which is,
Wow.
And the auditors desperately wanted this, and I would say it cost us money, them trying to accomplish this, so I think
It
it
did.
will save us audit money.
Great.
We have the option of, putting it in like a high yield savings.
In order to do something like that, you're going outside of the treasurer's office. And it's an audit issue. All of our money right now is at the treasurer's office. We have no outside bank accounts except for our scholarship fund.
Yeah.
Which is, so if you go into any other thing, that's something I know nothing about.
Okay,
So,
just thought I'd ask.
yeah. So what this does is allows us just to open fund 182, to transfer the money into.
I will make a motion to open fund 182.
I like this. I second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Amending the multi-district agreement.
So, because of legislative changes, there is a new agreement between the school districts. So the new one is on the front, the old one is in the back. Along with, I think I also put what the law said. Or I didn't. But, yeah, so the old one's in there, the new one's in there, and this says she's gonna give up the money.
They're all sounds. We usually do those.
Oh, yeah, us and Marion, I think, have the most.
Awesome.
Um,
So they'll
but we're,
miss
but
that
we're
'cause they
still
don't
hot
have
dogs.
as much interest.
Yeah, yeah, they won't get as much interest.
We need a motion to approve this new agreement with the West Side
Right.
multi-district agreement. Right. What do you say?
It's a 3-year agreement.
Yes.
Yeah. Motion to approve.
Motion to approve this.
I will second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I-
I was all excited.
The next item is board consideration of extra pay compensation for work above. I guess this is a little multifaceted. Mrs. English, the board approved 80 hours of additional work to be performed. However, when we have staff turnover, that immediately requires additional work to be performed over the summer by not only our administrator, but our entire hiring committee. I did ask Mrs. English to please keep track of time spent, tasks performed, and she went significantly over the 80 hours because there were just things that I think were pretty important that needed to be done. Do you know where you're at currently?
Well, I capped it at August. So I felt like this I'm gonna say contractual hours would start in August, but, so in July it was 102.
Additional.
Or total?
Total.
So
Okay.
My actual
22
contract
above
every year
the-
wouldn't start till August,
Yeah,
so, yeah, in July.
but I didn't know if it was 102 over the 80.
additional, so we approved 80 and I would just asking the board to please consider approving the additional 22.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
The code's already in zero.
The other point to consider, and Sharon brought this to my attention because I get a little single-minded sometimes, is we also had asked staff members to come in during the summer to do hiring. I don't know if Mrs. English had any thoughts on
We do need to have a big plan. I'd like to do that. We can retro pay. But I think it needs to be more of a comprehensive plan that probably would need to go to the KTA to get it. To approve something like that. We could do it for classified pretty easily, but I would like it to just be one big package, but I will be coming with that for these odds and ends. Once your contract starts, you're a salaried employee and we all understand we're expected to work additional hours, but these fall outside of our regular scope. And everybody did it with a smile this summer, which is, I mean, super appreciated. And in this hiring season, like interviewees should be interviewing you just as much. So having positive, peppy people here on a gorgeous Wednesday and, it's a perk that we have with our awesome staff here. So, I think we need to acknowledge that monetarily, but it's part of a bigger.
So you're not asking for anything today, you're just advising us that this is gonna be something that's coming?
It's gonna be coming and then we can still retro pay
Sure.
for work done this July.
Is that solely just related to hiring? Or my only concern, is I know we've had requests from teachers to be paid for coming in and doing some work. Moving the library, doing whatever,
Yeah,
and we denied that. Do we need to
that's
worry
like,
about?
I think this needs to go to the KTA and then I'll bring back like an MOA for you to consider that would
Okay.
spell that out.
Okay,
So for example, if I have told you that you're moving your classroom, different than you electing a new space. That might become open. That's your choice. That's your, like, when you bring me that and I say yes, that's part of what you're bringing in. Let's talk about verse. You might not want to, and I'm forcing you to move or sure. The hiring committees, I could do it by myself with the board member. That doesn't feel very collaborative. So it is an admin ask is kind of the idea. I'm gonna draft this MOA with, like, if you're asked or told, well, told, compensation would be at this rate. If it's your choice, you also understand that you're then volunteering your time to do this.
And you have to be real careful with anything that does with wages, with unions.
Yeah, that's what I was,
Everything has to be an MOU or, I mean, you have to be real careful.
right.
So mostly just, I guess at this time, seeking a motion to approve the additional 22 hours of work that was desperately needed.
I will make a motion to approve the additional fund.
I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you for all that work.
It's been really fun. And I'm being sarcastic. I really, really.
And I think we understand that it was gonna take a little extra time for you to get your feet under you, and so we could start the school year and,
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
be
the
successful.
school is all ready to go and hit send, and then the day after, or the day before, somebody chose a different job, which triggered a hiring committee, which then triggered things you'll find in the principal's reports, and it just snowballed. So I think originally 80 hours would have been sufficient.
But things happen. you
Yeah.
know. Totally understandable.
Very grateful to have you. We're going to move on to information items. We keep follow-up discussion as a reminder to all of us that if there were items that we had previously discussed that we need to come back and discuss, that we should do that. There were none this time listed, so information is there's no follow-up discussions. And then again, another MTSBA thing. They ask every 2 years that if a district wants them to tackle a legislative item that we put together, we fill out their form and basically indicate, what we're asking them to do, why we're asking them to do it, how it benefits students, et cetera, et cetera. I just wanted the board to be aware that that is out there. I know that we're a small district, but we do have a lot of pull when it comes to things like that. We just have never individually put forth a resolution before the Montana School Board Association. If it's something that anyone is feeling like compelled to bring forth an issue, we could always approve it at the next board meeting. I just want to get that out in front of you that we do have that ability. And maybe not delete the email every time. So it's to keep me accountable also. It's a done. Yes, ma'am.
I would love to have a work session on that topic and legislative offerings that maybe you guys could consider them to put in. A really easy one would be like sixth grade not being funded at a 7th, 8th level. So they're funded like a K-5 student. That does not make any sense in any school. We all moved 20 years ago to having 25 years ago to having sixth grade in a middle school setting, even some fifth. So not funding us appropriately. The other piece is no longer funding us based on A and B and having a whole different formula that they need to come up with, but just expressing how unhappy we are with how it is now. Getting funding for 18 students in kindergarten and still expecting one FTE teacher versus the 30 students we get funded for at a higher rate in an 8th grade class with one FTE teacher that might be paid less than this teacher makes 0 sense at all. So if that needs to be a work session or something, you know, can then understand the legislative offerings that might be coming up, I would love to host that. I have very strong opinions I didn't get to express in my lateral HR that were very like school centered, and I would love to chat with you about them.
Aspire fees. And for Aspire fees, and the sharing once those obliterated, done away with.
Present on that.
Property.
Yes.
Just see have opinions if you hear them.
We have, well, I think it's a pretty tight September deadline. I think it's September 18th, but I apologize, not having in front of me.
So September 18th.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So do you want to expedite a workshop this year? Otherwise,
Well, our next meeting is September 10th, right?
Yeah.
So, right? Is that what we have?
Mhm.
So even if we just did a 30-minute crash course right before the regular board meeting, it could be a separate work session or optional stay after.
Big one.
So that information starts on page 44 of your second board packet, if you want to review that further. All right. Legislative updates. That begins on page 48 of your second.
So Liz had given you a big 2025 legislative session updates. There's a few that when I went to my conference, I really wanted to share that affect us. One is House Bill 168. It allows funding for preschool children with disabilities enrolled in a co-op that are under 5. Before, we couldn't count students for our A and B that were in the co-op that were under 5 receiving special services. Now we can. We can count them as if they're a half FTE or a full FTE. So that's something that is coming up. House Bill 567 is the multi-district agreement that we talked about. There's one more. Oh, House Bill 602. So in the past, a non-tenured teacher, if they were not non-renewed, you did not have to give a reason. Now, if it's due to financial budget cuts, you do have to give the reason saying our finances do not support the salary. So, that's something that went into a law too, and it also allows for public comment on this. And so that's, if you want to look it up, that the House Bill 602 is in your packet. House Bill 527 is an election bill. They're going to be changing some of the dates for election deadlines. Like in December, when trustees had to put in for their candidate nomination forms, some of the notices and stuff, I mean, there's just gonna be, so some things will be different than they were before. And then. Oh, gosh. That's all I have.
All right. If you're not going to be on the policies committee, so everyone except Linda. I would love, before those policies come to the full board, for you to maybe review some House bills that have passed, and I can send you the links to these, but these will likely be the hotter topics for the discussion piece in here. So that would be House Bill 471. That's an update on opt-out versus opt-in for sexual education in schools and the timelines for when we need to inform parents. Let's see, House Bill 745 is actually, I think, a super one. It's what we already do for background checks. But anyone who hasn't had a fingerprint background check cannot be along with our students. That is not with a staff member with a background check. That's how we have operated in the past 4 years ago, how we operated. I'll catch myself up on the last 2, but that's very much in line with my understanding of how we should be with our students, and not just the name search and like a online screener, like a full, if you're gonna be alone, I wanna see your background. Let's see, the other one is House Bill 400. And this has to do with misgendering and disciplining students for not using given preferred, yeah. So any of those that they like what they want to be called, this gives very specific details, and that will probably go to a legal battle. So that one is one to keep up on, but it will be in the MTSBA recommended policy changes that it would be good if you guys looked at. And the last one I had was House Bill 602, like Sharon had just said. It's really crappy to have a financial cut and sit in a meeting with a non-tenured teacher and not be able to give them a reason. So it also, for them to get another position if they choose to not resign, it doesn't look like they're, you know, a teacher that can't hack it or was fired for whatever reason, but, it gives a reason that still holds their, you know, credibility intact in a public setting, that go in public minutes, so. Those are kind of the hot topics. I'll send this, hot sheet. So this is from School Administrators of Montana, which is another SAM acronym like MTSBA. So SAM advocates for legislature and then, MTSBA writes our policy. That puts that into action. These are gonna be the hot topics for Linda and I'm to chat through with Sharon.
Did you say you were gonna send us?
Yeah, I'll send you this full hot sheet of all of them and then just highlight the probably stickier ones.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Moving on to the principal's report.
We'll just do this. Oh, sorry. All right, so it is, it will be brief, so it might look fun, but. All right, the first thing that we had to tackle in my July time was just how are we going about hiring people? So we've started implementing the screening matrix. It's pretty small here, but this is actual record keeping then of why we're making the decisions we're making. So we have something to fall back on if anyone ever came and questioned our hiring process. After the screening matrix is reviewed, our top candidates are interviewed, the committee deliberates, we bring a recommendation to you for approval. So these were the documentation pieces through my HR new experience that we were likely missing in our practices here that we have put in place in our last two hirings. There's some bumps, but yeah, I'll just go over those here. So summer hiring, we did have the 0.4 kinder and 0.6 middle school that we smushed into the 1.0. And we're hoping for our K-8 certified unicorn to come. We did find someone who would have been a wonderful fit, and unfortunately they had another offer at Only Bissell and they would have one classroom and they opted to have that. And so our other options were not certified to do what we needed them to do. And instead then we pivoted and Mr. Conover has taken on all of the middle school math and Miss Iverson has taken on kinder, and we were able to smush all of what she had for title into our morning when Dana or Miss Jenks is here. And then Miss Iverson is taking on the afternoon. So I had heard some concern about having multiple staff members, you know, with our really important bookend. I had a chat with Amy and being student taught in kindergarten, it will be a nice transition and what's best for our students and our school. So thank you, Amy, for graciously taking that on, even though you were super pumped for title, you still get to do it. And but our kinders are pretty lucky to have such wonderful staff in that classroom. So at one point we were maybe gonna have 4 different people have to do that throughout the day, and so we are down to 2, which is ideal and quality staff that we have experience with, and so do our students. So then we did have a paraprofessional. You've just hired Miss Tana. You'll have to decide what you want them to call you, so I don't keep flip-flopping between Miss Nicely and Miss Tana or Miss T.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Actually, I never thought about that.
So by September 2nd, you know.
That's an assignment.
It's an assignment, it's my first one.
So we did have quite the pool, like I had shared, and so what we were potentially going to do is actually bring 2 recommendations today for the board to consider out of that pool. Only one came to fruition, the others would not have been a good fit or, didn't show up when said they would, etc. So we did reopen that pool. That will be something we might consider if we need to after the full schedule is created. But at this time, I don't have a second. I'm not totally convinced we would need that. We are stretched about as thin as possible with certified staff. And so once I get a good feel of our students and have a chat with, Christian, our special education teacher, and really deep dive into the caseload, we might need some support pushing that out, and that might be the need. We might also look at hiring a second paraprofessional, at a totally different schedule. So that might need to be like a 10 to 6 schedule, to accommodate some other things that may or may not be happening in another program, and I'll keep you informed as we go on that. But I'm not sure where that one will land, but it's likely that you'll see another recommendation for a paraprofessional. Just remembering that we did, save a 1.0 FTE based on our hiring through the summer of a certified staff member, so we will still be under budget. And I also just don't want to burn our staff out, so we'll see where we're at. We're also not gonna hire to just hire and fill a space or, not burn staff out with an FTE, because FTE that shouldn't be here actually burn us out faster than just about.
Definitely appreciate
So,
you not just hiring.
that's where we're at for our summer hiring. And let's see, summer camp, Miss Tika hosted our summer camp. It was in 2 sessions, 2 full weeks. And we had 21 total students. Some of them were the same, so not differing students, but 21 access points to that. It was a lot of outdoor activities and just keeping people active and, arts and craftsy things. The kids were having a great time every time that I was here, and I'm pretty excited about that program. So I hope we get to continue offering that for our families. And we did more than break even in our summer.
Well, good.
Yeah,
Camp.
we're in the,
So as long as we have staff that want to keep offering it, we're not, the district or the general fund's not taking a hit for that. It is self-funding itself.
There was a question on whether or not we were gonna have it this year because we didn't have a lot. So I'm glad to hear that it worked out.
yeah, because one was over, one was under, but when you added the 2, I mean, it was budget wise, it was fine.
So we do have our back to school events on the 28th from 3:30 to 5:30. I'm hoping you can all make an appearance to that. Most of you are invested for other reasons, but it would be nice to have a full board presence at that. So our regular Meet Your Teacher supply drop off, we're gonna bring back the passport. So people like Christian or the kitchen staff or Tara don't get passed over because it's not your regular ed classroom. Miss Tika or Miss Ogden. So each classroom that your kid might go through in their schedule will have a passport, and then there's ice cream bars in the office. Or maybe outside if it's nice, who knows where they'll be. It'll be on the passport. But so if you fill your passport, you have this extra treat. But we just want to make sure it's a full experience rather than one room and you're out. The PTA will also have snow cones and a sign-up sheet. So spread the word that we could use a boost in our PTA. It seems after talking with Miss Jody, we have a strong presence at the beginning of the year, and then it gets quite thin by the end. So just a continued sign up for that. If anyone's asking what they could do, that would be a great opportunity for them. Athletics will have some signups for any kids that don't or didn't speak out like we have in the past. It could just be a clipboard because Miss Eli does need to be in other places and all the things.
I had it outside my room last year on that black cart, and it was kind of nice because then I could answer any questions if anybody had anything.
So the chat's real fast.
Yes.
And then Mr. Conover is gonna have 2 8th grade meetings during that window to hopefully catch parents at the beginning and end. And we are switching our title parent meeting. It was gonna be in September. And Miss Amy just said, why don't we put it during our back to school event? Made a lot of sense. People are already here. So that will also be and take place. That's part of our audit that we do need to have that parent meeting for title. But other than that, just a fun time for kids to get back to seeing each other, and then they don't have to bring 4 backpacks on the first day of school and can just have a regular. Anything I missed on the back to school event? Staff thing? Okay. Facility update. I am so excited. This is one of our major focal points on the next slide. But lots of pretty important things have been ticked off. Checked off the checklist, maybe would be a better way to say that, this summer. And so the office stairway is looking awesome. They're gonna do a second coat and paint the sides, and then we have a new railing coming.
I was gonna ask about that. I just saw that there wasn't really.
I had a feeling you might do a walkthrough on the way over.
Looks great.
Yeah, so that will all be done before the start of school. The heaters are planned to be installed on either Tuesday, Wednesday, or Wednesday, Thursday of next week in the gym. And replacing those, they're about 20 years old. The sound system might get pushed off if the heaters take longer. It's the same company installing those. However, I strongly encourage them to have it done by our back to school assembly, so it will be done before the start of school.
Awesome.
Then the third bathrooms are getting their facelifts, and it will be nice to have faucets that do turn off in those bathrooms. There's been some playground maintenance that's done. Our Spinami got fixed, and then there is going to be a bolt audit through the jungle gym, so I'm just making sure they're all there and present by the time school starts. And then our regular annual cleaning by Mr. James or Mr. Francis that we have. So that's kind of what's been done this summer.
Let's pause you for a second.
On the bathrooms, did we get the back walls taken care of before installing new?
The fiberglass reinforced. I don't know.
He is just now starting to work on those. He was in today. He was going to start the demolition, but James had just waxed the floors. So he's gonna come tomorrow.
But we have a plan to fix that.
I think so.
When, I know you missed the meeting.
Yes.
It was probably.
And I sent an email in to.
Yeah, so we talked about it at that meeting, and we talked about the fiberglass reinforced plastic, and if I remember correctly, James knows how to install that. Is that,
I think James opted out and said,
so was it
I
the
think
end?
maintenance.
Okay.
And it's gonna do it.
Yeah, someone said, yes, that's gonna happen.
it is, okay.
Yes, yeah.
It just doesn't make sense for us to put in all new urinals with urine stained.
Exactly. Yeah, and I just actually emailed Meehan today to contact Silco so that they can coordinate stuff.
Okay.
Perfect, great.
I'm glad you asked about that though, because I had not even heard of.
Yeah, you weren't here yet, and that was, yes.
Bacteria and it holds an odor we can't get rid of. So it's very inexpensive to fix as long as we have all the fixtures off.
Mhm.
And it was recommended
Yeah.
when we got the quote.
The FRP board is like $25 a sheet for a 4x8 sheet, and it's like it's fiberglass reinforced plastic. Just put it up, you got these little ends, and it's super simple.
But if we install those new fixtures, then we can't do it.
You can, it's just not nearly as good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not ideal.
correct.
Well, if that can't get done before the start of school, there will be Hail Mary volunteer opportunities being sent out. So I do hear maybe my first thought at an email at $25 a sheet. Might be coming.
Pretty expensive. And I've installed it in my daycare's bathroom for the exact same reason that we needed things like that, so.
And now we have references. But again, it is difficult for a school when administration, I mean, there's lots of these kinds of backsplash things that get dropped, and unfortunately, that's where we're at, but I do think the people that we have in place to put these things in place have done some very high quality work that I've seen so far, and I don't see it not getting done and you needing to be contacted, but. All right, as I have sent you guys an email back in July, one of the things that I am really good at is focusing on too many things. So I have learned that I need to, and probably most people would do better if we just focus on a couple things. So these are what I have selected as my focal points for 25-26. I would love to hear your feedback on these. This is my last bit of my principal's report, just for time purposes, but these are the things that I see as the highest priority. Other things are important, but we can't do all the projects we want to do year one, and do them well. So I would love to actually have some attention time. I actually was only going to have 3. It was going to be the first 3. We are obviously very lucky to have Mrs. Eli, and even luckier to have her in her admin program, but she does need some admin projects to do. So we have collaborated, and having her take on some curricular mapping is a very admin-y thing. So we are able to get that one added to this list. But my main focus is our long-range facility plan. So for too many years now, and this includes when I was here before, so I am speaking of myself, we have acted on when things break, we fix it. And the idea that Abe and Nick have signed themselves up for is we need to map it out. We need to start getting some preventative maintenance on the books. And just like you can't focus on all the things all the years, like we need to just start checking things off of our list. So I have collected a list with Meehan and Mr. James, and we'll be bringing that to our first meeting, so we can do it whenever I'm ready to rock. It does not have dollar amounts or the time it would take, but I know someone who may have experience and shed some light on those. Meehan is giving us a lot of bids, but just start making a plan for using our funds in our local agreement that's now going to be local. And start doing some of those in the summer, so. Safety and security, we all have an experience, we don't, but many have experienced that your security upgrades. Plan, you can't just drop, $75K on a new security system. If it's not in the long range plan, then something else gets bumped and then your plan's no longer a plan, it's just a piece of paper. So having all of those integrated into one, I'm pretty excited about that you guys were on board with that without me having to say too much. Next one is just really deep diving into our profile of a learner. So in the past we had CIA, and then it's turned into the 3 pods in our profile that's in our strategic plan. This year I would really like to focus on actually hammering out what those things mean. Is that what our parents want to represent their kids when we pass them off to Flathead or whatever other school they go to? Is that truly what's going to prepare them for life and what our parents want them to leave with? And then we also need to know what do those mean and start having some I can statements attached to those and moving forward. So hopefully by the end of the school year, everybody will be able to tell you what that profile of a learner says, rather than just some check marks we did for OPI. Does it truly represent us, and do we all know what it is? Like, can you all tell me what all the fingers on all 3 of those pods means right now? If not, then we're not doing our job with the intent of that at its core. And so I think that's where we were already kind of going ahead of the curve with the CIA. It could have been done better and in a different way and been more inclusive of our community, but it's already kind of where the staff is headed, and we just need to align that with what our community wants. And then culture building, one of my favorite things. So I was very good at creating events in the past and then having people jump on board with that. I'd actually like to flop that. I'd always talked about flopping it, but now with a fresh start, Ms. Counts and I have already talked about the student leadership team running all of our assemblies. I would just be like a guest speaker, not the highlighter. So what do our kids want to see? Part of culture building for me is also going to be a problems group. So they need to come up with the problems that are going on in our school and have some solutions. And I would like them to present on that monthly at the board meeting. So we'll have student representation at each board meeting, giving you a highlight of what's going on rather than staff doing that. So that's kind of super broad strokes on the main focal points that I do think if we could focus on those things, we can pretty much do anything with the staff and families and students at the school. So. If you'd like to see anything different, it's not even, I haven't even filled out my whiteboard yet. I'm waiting for this and to get some feedback from you, so. Otherwise you can green light and I'm gonna be off making plans, so.
I see culture building being students and our staff. I think repairing our culture and our staff this year is gonna be huge.
I hear you. From what I know about our staff and the time I've spent with the staff I haven't directly worked with, I think if we can focus on our students again, it's gonna happen.
Bring it all.
Like all of our staff is here for kids or they wouldn't
Yeah.
still be here and I don't need to. I went to this really great HR workshop and it was something about how bath bombs are not gonna fix burnout. So any amount of like icebreakers, trust falls isn't gonna do that. It's refocusing on kids and making our kids and parents and families happy and then therefore teachers have a better experience also.
Right.
I think inherently they get along and.
Yeah.
We'll have some tough conversations, those that are having, which I've done. In the last few years. I do hear what you're saying. And presentation.
Good report.
Yeah.
Go forth and
Refresh.
do your thing.
Yeah.
Best principals report I've seen in a couple of years.
All right, our September meeting. Just don't know the date of
The
the
10th.
Thank you.
Got a lot of flack at Northwest Mouse right before this meeting for getting to do that. You just, you guys know all the other superintendents are very jealous. So thanks for them.
September 10th. If I could get a motion to adjourn the meeting. I will make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Second.
Didn't get it at the end.
Oh.
Pretty